What's going on, everyone? Before we get into things, short and sweet, February 1st, the Royal Rumble. C2 Wrestling will be live right here on our YouTube channel. Our live reactions to the entire show. There should be returns, there should be surprises, maybe even debuts. Come hang out with us right here on C2 Wrestling. Talk wrestling, see our reactions to whatever happens. Maybe we get a rant or two. There was so many funny moments during the Raw debut on Netflix. I am sure there will be plenty of funny moments for this one. So come hang out, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Now, let's get into the video. C2 Wrestling is back. Friday Night SmackDown wrapped up the final episode before Saturday night's main event tomorrow, the second edition of the revamped Saturday night's main event, which we will be live for right here on our channel. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so you know when we go live. 4 matches on the card and a contract signing. But honestly, the best moments always come from us doing something stupid, saying something stupid, or having a hilarious impromptu moment.
Yeah, the side conversations are kind of what makes the live stream great. But it's also a bit of us just talking shop, wrestling. This is what we love. This is what we do. I feel like we are great minds for the wrestling business, as crazy as that sounds. But we've been predicting a lot of the things that have happened in the short 6, 7 months we've been doing this. And, you mentioned it already, a fourth match. We predicted it. Tag team titles being defended at the Royal Rumble. We got DIY versus the Guns. 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yes, 2 out of 3
Absolutely love
falls.
it. Absolutely love it. That's fire, I
Yes.
think.
We'll talk a little bit more about the tag team division as a whole in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But on the topic of tag teams, on the topic of us predicting things, a month ago we did a prediction video. Not predictions. I shouldn't call it a prediction video. It was more so of like who needs to transfer.
Or who would
And
we transfer?
exactly. And 3 names that we mentioned tonight officially got transferred. We had The Miz get transferred, which was not in our video. Damian Priest transferred to SmackDown, which was a big name that we hit on. And A Town Down Under, also a name that we hit on in that video a month ago, comes to fruition. Now, honestly, what we should do is we should be like all those goofy ass Twitter accounts that pretend that they have sources. And we should actually just clip those parts and be like, we had this scoop a month ago. We had this scoop a month ago.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, the dirt sheets over the last bit of time, they're not often getting things right. But C2 Wrestling is. So I mean, we might have to connect somewhere. And it's our boy Triple H is calling me right now. I gotta take this.
Yeah. Our pal Hunter, our group chat. You guys would die if you heard our group chat name with Hunter.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that one a secret for now. Don't
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
him yet. Don't
That's
tell him
just for
yet.
us. I'm sure there's a behind the scenes doc if you see his phone. He's probably
Yeah.
texting us.
He is texting us.
Yeah, he is.
But we did predict it. We saw these things coming. Now listen, Priest was a little bit more like, okay, this guy's probably going to SmackDown. Sure. That fits the bill. He should be on SmackDown. I liked the little backstage segment between him and Cody and Priest saying, I'll see you soon, champ, whatever he said. Something along those lines. Makes sense. I do think a Priest heel turn might be imminent. When I say imminent, maybe matter of months post Mania. I don't think it's coming quite yet, but I think that will be the ultimate avenue for him. As a single star, I think he's a heel. Even in the Judgment Day, he was a heel again. Once he turned face is where it kind of fell off a little bit, but Judgment Day, falling apart. Priest goes over to SmackDown. Miz coming with him to SmackDown. Did not quite expect that. Not opposed to it. A little bit of a segment with A Town Down in which they go over to Raw. I kind of enjoyed that segment though with A Town Down because I said this ages ago before Waller and Theory were ever a team that Grayson Waller and the Miz. It would be crazy if they never teamed up within WWE. So I thought for a moment like, oh, we're gonna get like maybe a couple week thing out of these three, but unfortunately, we're not.
No, we're not. But I'm excited for them to go to Raw. That was in the video breakdown. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it in a while. The video came out a month ago. Um, but we mentioned that they like, especially Waller, is perfect for Netflix. Like,
Perfect.
you give him a Waller effect, the Grayson Waller effect show here and there on Netflix. It'll be hilarious. He'll push the boundaries. It'd be great. Don't put the time restraints on it. Like, love that. I love it for the Raw tag team division because the Raw Tag Team division has some decent teams.
Yeah.
It's not the thinnest. It's not as thin as it used to be. But I'm hoping that the Raw Tag division starts to get the treatment that the SmackDown Tag division has been getting. Now, I alluded to it before from you mentioned the Motor City Machine Guns getting their title shot at the Royal Rumble, which we'll always also be live for, so come hang out with us then. The SmackDown Tag division tonight, again, another great multiple segments. I don't want to give them all the credit. They are my boys, though. The life of the SmackDown Tag division, like it's if you had a chart, like the pinpoint before it goes up is the Machine Guns coming in and debuting. And since then, all these teams, they're all integrated into one massive story, and
Mhm.
it's all been interesting, and it's brought great matches every single week.
Yeah, it absolutely has. The Street Profits maybe fell out of the mix. At a point, I thought they were maybe bound for Raw, but seeing A Town Down go over there makes sense to me. I'm a fan of it. That Raw Tag Division definitely spicing up a little bit. With recent news that Dragon Lee is seemingly on paternity leave as well. We'll have him back with Ray eventually. That's another solid tag team, you would imagine. I think there's definitely a few avenues for A Town Down on Raw. We got the Y6 coming to SmackDown too. So we didn't just lose a tag team on SmackDown. They gained one as well that we haven't quite seen yet. But with the Guns, with Pretty Deadly, with all these teams going on, Pretty Deadly has an encounter backstage with Legado del Fantasma. And it's very brief, but again, it's just all intertwined and it's great. And what caught my attention during that was, it's heel Pretty Deadly having an encounter with heel Legado, and they're at odds. Not every heel is best friends. These guys can all have their own avenues they're taking, to get to the championships. And they don't have to team up with all the good guys and all the bad guys. It makes sense the way they're doing it, and I'm a big fan of it. Pretty Deadly getting action tonight, an in-ring match that wasn't just some, 5-10 minute kind of squash match. You had texted it to me during the match. Love that they're actually getting some fight in this match. I think that's great. This is similar to the Penta debut on Raw, with Chad Gable. Chad Gable got action in that match. Not that this was Pretty Deadly's debut, but I didn't know if it was going to get a legitimate match. They did. I'm glad to see it. I love Pretty Deadly.
So am I. And they were due for a match like that. Again,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to win every match to legitimize yourself, but they were on a strong streak of their matches would be maybe 5 minutes. They look
Yeah.
like dupes. They lose. The Machine Guns, who, I mean, they have maybe like two losses since joining the WWE. They win pretty much every week in like 20-minute matches.
Mm-hmm.
Going competitive against them makes Pretty Deadly look better. So, love that. Love what's going on with the SmackDown Tag Division. I think it's going to continue to go up, especially at the Rumble. There's one thing I do want to ask you about. I don't know if you caught it. I know you said before we came on that in and out at certain points. Did you catch the backstage segment between The Miz and Andrade?
Oh, yes, I did. Okay, yes. Now, Miz trying to essentially let Andrade recruit him, it had seemed. And Andrade says going to go find somebody. Now, I've been saying this for a long while now, maybe on the podcast, maybe on C2. I feel like I've said it somewhere. Definitely have said it in discussion between us. You pair Andrade with Charlotte. I mean, that's the answer, right? Like, that's exactly what's happening here.
That was my immediate thought, but I was
Mm-hmm.
going to ask, is there any chance this could be him looking for maybe a tag partner?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could, Um, I just don't know if I need him in a tag team. With who too? I mean, he definitely could be. Who do they send over that would team with Andrade? I mean, I looked at it as Miz was trying to, kind of not be his manager, but a little bit more to that sense where I think Charlotte would fit that bill. Andrade tag team, it went hit my mind for a minute, but I just went right by it. I don't see it. I don't know who he teams with.
I don't know either, but I do see him pairing with Charlotte making sense, but at the same time, Charlotte seemingly is coming back as a heel and
Yeah.
Andrade's a face. And I don't know if they're going to turn Andrade here or not. They could, and maybe a heel is heading over to Raw during this transfer window. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. There's still plenty of avenues, there's plenty of options with both brands.
I would like him heel personally.
Yeah, I think face Andrade I don't want to say it's run its course, but like I don't think we're getting much more out of it. Like I know you'll agree with this. I need the heel Andrade face Cody Rhodes for the WWE title.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, at some point, Andrade doesn't necessarily have to win, although he'd be a fantastic champion. But it seems like that's a feud that will happen at a point. Andrade is not a face for life. He'll be heel eventually. I think he just would be better suited right now. The Shinsuke US title run's been great, but if Andrade was the heel, might have been his title run, kind of fits the bill. Pairing him with Charlotte, I've said for a while, I think makes sense. It's typically hard to have a woman male pair in wrestling unless it's within a faction too, because like the woman can interfere in the men's matches, the men can interfere in the women's to a point before it gets a little like, oh, Andrade's not gonna interfere in the Charlotte match and hit Becky with the DDT or something. So it's a little bit tough sometimes, but real life couple, they both have a similar. I mean, the new Charlotte vignette, it seems like Charlotte's coming back with a little bit of like a revamped character, but I think there's similarities in their characters that could play off one another.
Yeah, they're both playoff being rich.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah,
really,
literally,
that's the
yeah,
best way to
yeah,
put it.
yeah,
I mean, they dress great. They, like inadvertently flaunt. Andrade inadvertently flaunts money, and Charlotte
yeah,
in her vignettes is not inadvertently. She is purposely flaunting the money that
yeah.
she's got. So, maybe that's the pairing. DIY, who will be facing the Machine Guns at the Rumble. They had a few segments, one of them being Johnny Gargano losing to Apollo Crews. Now, Apollo Crews, it hurts me that they let go of Corbin as soon as it seemed like Crews and Corbin were about to start gaining momentum on
Yeah.
something. Was this just a one-off win for Crews, and maybe Crews faces like Nakamura for the US title in the future? Or, is this actually going to lead to something for Crews? Maybe he finds a new tag partner. What do you think could be for the future for Crews? I mean, he just pinned one half of the tag team champions.
I mean, Cruz is a great talent, don't get me wrong, but I think he's enhancement talent at this point and probably for the rest of his career. It is a shame they released Corbin because Corbin is fan fucking tastic. And he had a lot of potential in this kind of revamped version of himself. Him pairing with Cruz, Corbin's little baby face run, it could have been a tag team. Not that they would have been the greatest tag team of all time, but it's another tag team in the division that you could use. Fans were into them. Apollo, I think, is just kind of the guy in that slot. The person the story's about, the DIY Gargano, that's like the focal point of the story. They're heels, especially too. They don't always have to win. So Apollo is enhancement for Johnny Gargano, even though Gargano lost that match. So I don't know if we see too much of it. Maybe Apollo does, hey, I beat a champion. I get a title match. Maybe he gets a match against Shinsuke. But I think that's only to elevate Shinsuke then, and he would take the win.
Yeah, I could see him getting a shot at Shinsuke on a SmackDown in a few weeks. Maybe they have a nice 3 week to a month feud,
Hmm.
and it's one of the more filler feuds, but it's something. He's a baby face. They're kind of lacking new baby faces for Shinsuke because teasing Priest is going for the world title, and then the rest are baby faces. But still, plenty of options, plenty of mix-ups on SmackDown. Cody and KO obviously have their kerfuffle, and we will see more tomorrow night when we're live, so we don't need to really deep dive into that. One thing I do want to talk about, though, love, 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 love. He may be losing, but Carmelo Hayes, he is on every week, and he is facing top talent. I know he's not winning, but it is like I mentioned like Twitter dorks earlier. This is something that Twitter dorks would be like, Carmelo Hayes is buried or something
Yeah,
like that. He
yeah,
loses
yeah.
every match. It's like he's facing literally the best guys that WWE has.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And his entrance, the whole lights shut out. He comes out to the spotlight. Like they're treating him like he is an up and coming star because that's what he is. Very similar to what I just said about Johnny Gargano. Carmelo doesn't have to win every match to move along in his career. That is not the point here. Carmelo is going to find that time to shine, and he is going to shine. He's in it right now. It's not even like he's going to find the time. It's a slow build for a guy like Carmelo. Slightly different from the build of Braun. Braun came in, dogged out, won the I almost said US title, IC title. Carmelo, it's a little bit more of a slower build, but those guys have similar upward trajectories, in my opinion. Where Carmelo, Braun might have got that IC title first, but Carmelo might get a main title, a WWE championship before Braun Breaker does. Who knows? I think Carmelo is one of those guys that is, and people might say that right now, those Twitter dorks, Carmelo's buried. But in 3 months, they're going to have him listed at number one to potentially win the money in the bank, blah, blah, blah. Just wait. We're going to get it with Carmelo.
And to wrap things up here, Jacob Fatu, another
Mm-hmm.
fire promo promoting them, Fatu and Tamatanga, essentially is like they are without Solo. And I don't know how long I could see Solo showing back up at the Rumble. I could see him being an entrant, but I don't think it's going to be Tamatanga versus Solo. I wouldn't be shocked if they just kept Solo off TV for a while and
Yeah, I
then
mean,
brought him back and, you know, the whole story started there. Because I feel like they don't want whatever they're doing with Solo. I have a feeling they don't want it to get lost in the shuffle.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there is potential solos off TV for a while, even past the Rumble. He's probably a mania. Don't get me wrong, but I can see like the avenue where Tamatanga and Jacob Fatu gain traction. They become like a great tag team, win a few matches, take out this guy, take out that guy. Hell, maybe they even get the tag titles again at some point, and then Solo trying to like fit his way back into his bloodline. But Fatu and Tamatanga give the like, where were you this whole time type thing. Solo's in a very interesting spot now. I do think he'll be in the Rumble. If I really had to guess, I think we'll hear that music hit one way or another.
I hope so,
But
so we can dance.
absolutely, what a banger of a song! What a banger! Yeah, but where he goes in that Rumble, I'm not sure. Does he rehash with Roman? Does he eliminate Seth Rollins? Does he go at somebody new? Who knows what happens? I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah, I feel like the Rumble will answer a lot of questions and also bring a bunch of new ones. And thankfully, we'll be live for it. But first, we're live tomorrow night, Saturday night's main event. So make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on so you know when we go live. We'll do the same the following week for the Royal Rumble. Snowden's got to handle Monday Night Raw after Saturday night's main event because your boy has got the old work ski to pay the bills, keep the lights on. Then we'll have SmackDown. We got the pod coming. A lot of fun things coming. The Royal Rumble live stream. And then something very special coming right after the Royal Rumble that I can't wait for people to see.
We're gonna keep that one tight-lipped for now, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You got to be subscribed. You got to have the notifications on because let's just say we got a bombshell coming.
Absolutely. For now, though, C2 Wrestling. We'll see you next time.